Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube, in all its infinite wisdom, has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Finally to the first, I guess GM turn for play-by-post role-playing experience that we do here in the channel. If you don't know what fan fiction is, I wouldn't blame you. This is the first time that we're ever doing anything like this, and it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So this is basically a... the only way I can really describe it is that we're doing a play-by-post over on the Discord channel, and a play-by-post is basically everyone who wants to can join in, and they make a character. I present problems over text, like a Discord post, and everyone, I guess, writes their responses as characters. We're limiting it to one action per day. And the idea is that everyone will be able to get an entire Discord post to describe what their character's doing, what they do, and how they solve the problem. What we're going to do today is we're going to introduce all the characters that have been created. I think there's a fair chunk of them, and we're going to make a page here on Roll20. I've got it all set up. We're just going to make characters for everyone and go from there. And then I will introduce the previous act. I'll read out what I've written, and we'll read out what everyone's responses are. Some of them include rolls, some of them don't. So what we'll be doing is I'll be rolling for everyone, and that will be basically how we do it. We're going to be using the Genesys system, which is basically a... if you've ever played the Star Wars Edge of the Empire game, it's basically that system, but genericized, I want to say. So it uses the same 6 dice, and it's not a bad game. We're definitely be able to get some mileage out of it for sure. I just poked myself in the eye. But yeah, let's get started with... We'll build everyone's characters first. So basically, if you want to join in, head on over to the Discord, which is discord.gg/Henley. And in there we have a fanfiction subcategory where you can come in, and these glasses are really, really dirty, and that fucking sucks. Where you can go in and you can make a character. There are rules for how the character's made, and there's rules for how the posts are getting made. So as long as you read those, you can join in. On top of that, there are going to be extra benefits later on for people who are Patreon subscribers and people supporters and people who are Twitch subscribers. So if you're one of those, you'll have the ability to have a secret, which will probably be tied into player points, story point. I'll explore a little bit more as to how that works, but... yeah, that's basically what we'll be doing. All right. So, Zachary Blackhole, aka Dr. Cirrus, you, my friend, get to go first. All right. So you got 3 successes. Oh no, we want the in turn order. Oh, look at that! It does it automatically. I wish I could like. Why doesn't it give him the name? Anyway, that's so annoying. Anyway, it doesn't give the people a name because normally in the system, initiative is PCs and NPCs, PCs and enemies, and the PCs can go in any order. So I'm going to have to write these people down manually because, that's the way it has to go. unfortunately. Three, 0. Okay. Alright, so Zachary and Zeref. Boop. Okay, so Zeref got 1 and 1. One and 1. She'll probably be there. Tyler Blackmar. So that is 0 and 3. On the bottom. Right. Samuel Davis. Alright, let us roll. Oh, you got a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you roll. 4 and 0. New leader. Ronald Cullen, aka Victor Von Buttman. Victor Von Buttman. Alright. 1 and 1. Cool. And Paul Abernathy. I need to get some background music or something for this next time. I'll search for that today. All right. Oh, wow. 3 and 1. Not bad. And Olga. Olga. All right. Oh, this one would be good. Hey, you got a triumph. So that adds a success to your roll. But for the purpose of initiative, it doesn't really mean a whole lot, unfortunately. Yeah. Why don't the advances pop up on the dice roller? Oh, they do. Yeah, they do. So for the purpose of this, it only adds an extra success, so that puts you at 1 and 2. The triumph doesn't really do a whole lot, but if you, for example, another person gets 1 and 2, then you'll be above them, basically. So I'll put a asterisk there next to the 2, just in case. But I think John Stern, aka Papa Squat. Papa Squat on your butt. Let's go. 3 green. Wow. Dude. Okay. Yeah, 4-0. That's like right up there. That's a good roll. Alright, so the order is as follows. It will go Samuel Davis at 4-0. Followed by John Stern, aka Mac Pop Squat. Followed by Paul Abernathy at 3-1. Followed by Zachary Blackhole at 3-0. Followed by Olga at 1 and 2 and a triumph. Followed by let's see, Zeref. Not that it matters, but I want to... Where's Zeref's roll? Zeref had 2 green and Ronald. Okay, followed by Ronald, because he has a talent dice in cool. Followed by Zeref. followed by Tyler, who came in at a measly 0-3. All right. So, let's us begin. All right. So, Season 1, Act 1, The Ties That Bind. Bloop. Ain't this the life, Henry? Asked the middle-aged man, reclining into a deck chair, placing his fishing rod into its holster. The fresh air, leaving the missus and the brats at home. I couldn't think of a better retreat. Henry, who looks to be in his late 20s, is baiting a hook of his own, stops and quizzically looks at his holidaying partner with a sigh. Just because you hate your family doesn't mean everyone does, Greg. Greg waves him off with a chuckle. You can't holiday with kids, man. Everyone knows this. Besides, they would scare off all the fish. The men end the conversation there and take in the beauty of their camp. Greg was right. Not about the kids, mind you. About how perfect a holiday place Rockwell is. All the camping and fishing a man could want, all within 4 days' drive of anything stressful. Yep, perfect, secluded, peaceful. Time passes for the men. Fish were caught, beer consumed. The men talked about life, about their family. Greg mentioned for the third time this trip the new secretary at work, something Henry decided not to stick his nose in. As the sun reached her highest point, both the men drift off to a carefree slumber, only to be woken by the nervous barking of Greg's mutt, Peanut. What got up Peanut's butt? Inquired Henry, who at this point cared more about his sleep than anything looming like, say, a bear. It's nothing. Damn dog is just barking at clouds, Greg replies, pointing off to the mountain in the distance. Henry rubs the sleep from his eyes and looks over. The once clear sky has been slowly consumed by a dark, foreboding cloud, cackling with energy. Not for nothing there, pal, but that ain't any type of cloud I've seen before. Sorry. Henry could only nod in agreement. Greg, aside from stating the obvious, had a really good point. That didn't even look like normal clouds. For one, it was almost like a fog that spanned from the ground right to the horizon. What did the forecast say for the next week, Greg? Does it matter? Replied Greg. They're clearly wrong. What else is new? So, are we going to wait it out, or do you want to turn in and return to the ranger hut? Maybe they know more about it. Smartest thing you've said all day, Greg. So, something is clearly happening in the county of Rockwell. When the curtain opens on your scene, what is your player character doing? What are their reaction to the violent maelstrom engulfing the place? What do they do in response? So the time frame they have for this act is anything up until the present time. So the first person to act is Samuel Davis, which is heavies, I guess. We're going to need a bigger boat. That's right, yeah. All right, so Sammy woke up on a park bench to an early morning sunrise. Being incredibly confused, Sammy scanned his surroundings and remembered that his ride never came last night. Drac, you absolute douchebag. Sammy got up and started walking towards the nearest payphone. He sparked up his last cigarette and was about to pick up the receiver when he first saw the cloud. The fuck is that? Sammy decided it was best not to sleep on the street ever again tonight. All right. Sammy would like to use Streetwise to find a place to stay tonight. Okay. Well, considering it's America and my time in America, I would say that the difficulty of this is going to be 2 purple, so relatively easy. And he wants to use Streetwise to do this. So let's see how he goes. So this is the first roll of the game. In case I'll explain what the results will look like after we do it. But let's take a look here. So Streetwise, he's rolling 1 rank, 1 yellow and 1 green. So let's take a look. Is that gonna work? Okay. Why is that not working? I don't know why that's not working. Okay, that is strange. Thank you very much. Let's take this off and So it used to do this thing where it would like reset every once in a while. I don't know if this is the same problem. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's not working anymore. So normally, if that is the case, you have to exit the game and reset the. It's stupid. Like the API sometimes shits itself, and I'm not sure why. Okay. It's giving me API problems. Container's already in use. Okay. Guess we'll just wait. Wow, man. Problems with this is the problem when you have fake fucking dice, right? So, okay. Looks like it's good to go now, I guess. We'll see. Welcome to hell, where I literally can't roll dice. Can you use the Star Wars sheet? I mean, it's the same fucking thing, really. Alright, so I have to open all these fucking things again. Okay. Oh, we need Samuel Davis. We'll put him down there. Alright, character sheet, 2 purple. 2 purple. He's rolling streetwise. Let's see if this works. Bam. Hey, okay, it works. So, the way that this game works, specifically, is characters have characteristics, which, is basically like, attribute levels. And those characteristics, they, like for example, brawn. If you want to use a melee weapon, melee uses the attribute brawn. So brawn will give you X amount of green dice, which is a D8 of dice, depending on your brawn level. And then you can go in and you can put ranks of skill in melee, which will then basically change those green dice into yellow dice, which is a D12. And they have positive things and negative things on them. So this is kind of a funny roll because the Genesys system, basically, you can fail a roll and succeed a roll at the same time. So that's basically what he rolled here. He rolled because and I also basically put matching dice. So purple for the green and red for the yellow dice in here to describe difficulty. And I put 2 purple in there, which isn't exactly a difficult roll, but it rolled 4 failures against his 2 successes. So basically he got, and they cancel each other out. So the 2 successes canceled out 2 of the failures, leaving him with 2 failures and 1 critical triumph. So he gets a crit. He crit a failure, which means that basically he can't he doesn't get what he wants. He doesn't succeed in his role, right? And he wanted to use streetwise to find a place to stay tonight. So because of that, what's going to happen is he might not find where a place to stay tonight, but he does find a wallet. And the wallet has $100 bill in it. There we go. Boom. But in terms of a place to stay tonight, he doesn't have anything like that. In fact, because he failed so hard, I'm going to say that he actually gets turned away from a lot of places, and at one point he has security called on him, so he's going to take a wound. Basically, he gets thrown out, manhandled by security, and thrown out, essentially. So he has a $100 bill, which I will put on his character sheet now. So he gets $100. Good job, sir. Money, $100. However, he takes a wound from being manhandled. And the strain, he also takes it. So basically the way that this is going to work is every time you do an action, you take a strain. And strain will reset once you rest, essentially. And imagine this, right? We're going to be doing an hour per act sort of thing. So sometimes days will go by really quickly. Sometimes they won't. So every act you do will add to your strain. And wounds can be healed by longer resting, finding medical care, and that sort of stuff. So good roll, Samuel Davis, I guess. But that is your result for today. And no advantages. All right. So next we have John Stern, a.k.a. Mac Poppersquat. Which was who? Big Food. Okay. Where is your... There it is. Okay, so John was down on his luck in Miami after breaking the faces of some Russian mobster. Good on you. It wasn't exactly welcome back in. He wasn't exactly welcome back in, so he decided to get some help from his friend Vince. And Vince knew some people in certain places. Had hooked John up with a gig in a place called Rockwell. Rockwell, big city name, blank. We haven't decided what the name of that city is, but you're in the biggest city. Okay. As a wrestler for the name work in progress, wrestling arena, I guess. You called it something. I don't know what it was. And we enter the scene as John is walking from his plane ride after he felt some... Waking from his plane ride after he felt some rumbling. Yeah, what the hell is that? He said in a grumbled tone. That's your grumbled tone. Which becomes inquisitive as he looks outside the plane. But John was quickly distracted as he hears the plane announce,
sorry, but due to unexpected weather patterns, the duration of the flight will be extended. Please fasten your seatbelts and exit the bathrooms.
What's going on here? Said John as he looks outside to see the county of Rockwell being encroached by, I guess, insert how the maelstrom looks like. Well, it would look like an angry fog wall cackling with energy. What the fuck? As he decides that asking the stewardess is probably for the best. I would like to use charm skill to get some information from her, and if she doesn't know anything, get more information from the pilots. And if this doesn't work, he's just going to wait for the rest of the ride. All right. Interesting. So I'm going to give people random voices just to spice things up. They're probably not going to stay the same voices across the period of time. So this is a charm skill. This is going to be 2 purple, obviously. So we'll same deal as heavy. So charm. All right. So stewardess walks past, and She's checking to see if everyone's, buckled their seatbelts and that sort of stuff. The tray tables are up. The seats are all upright, and the armrests are all down in the down position. All right, you get a success. So basically, what happened there is you rolled 2 threats, and you got 2 advantage and 1 success. So the threats and the advantages, they cancel each other out, leaving you with 1 success. And 1 success is enough to get what you want. So you grab the stewardess by like the arm as she walks by. She's like, "What is it, sir?" And John looks up and says, "Listen, lady, I really need to get some more information about what's happening that outside. I mean, have you seen what's going outside?" And she sort of looks out the window and she's like, I understand. Look, I don't know much, but I could potentially ask the pilots for you." John nods and he's like, "Well, I'm eager to see what they have to say." So she finishes checking everyone is, in the seats and stuff like that. And she'll sort of scoot off towards the cockpit. She'll come back a moment later. And she'll sort of like, get down on her knees sort of thing and sort of lean in close to you. And she's like, apparently it's being called a... the pilots can't actually contact anyone. Aside from the Rockwell Tower, that's basically it. But they're calling it a hurricane or something. So, yeah, you might want to secure your seatbelt a little better. And the plane starts to roll then. Like, and the fasten seatbelt sign comes on. And yeah, that's where we'll leave your character for now, I guess. Yeah. All right, so nothing really bad happened to you. You found some information. Your strain will go up, however, since you did make a roll. So that leaves you 8 strain remaining, John Stone, Papa Squat. So good job. Paul Abernathy is next, which is Fighter Pants. So let's take a look here. Exit the last scene with Paul narrate. Okay, so... Exit the last scene with Paul narrating. I don't get what that means. Okay, anyway. Exit the last scene with Paul narrating. "Last night was late, but that's what the job entails sometimes. I'm glad I didn't need to pull out my revolver, but the job was just too big for the pay. A bit too long for the pay. Morning was weird. Usually the call from his secretary... I don't know where your conversation with yourself ends. Okay, it doesn't. It just keeps going. Morning was weird. Usually the call from his secretary, Suzanne, would have woken me up by now. But this time, it was an unusual crack of thunder. I waited for the call, but by now I realized it was too late for one. I decided to actually take a peek outside when I noticed the unusual weather. So I called her house phone. No answer. I put on my trench coat and went outside. Searching for her around the usual spots. Okay. I would like to look around for clues as to the whereabouts of my secretary and asked around for some general information about the place, information at the place I would look, about the weird weather, and where my secretary is using charm. Making sure to carry along his trusty revolver, as I fear something may have happened to her. Okay, well, that seems like 2 rolls to me. So I'm going to pick one for you. It sounds like you're more interested in what happened to your secretary. So, yeah, let's go with the secretary one. And keep in mind that if you ask for 2 things in your roll, you're only going to get 1. and deciding on what your role is going to be, we'll go from that. All right, so this is going to be 2 purple. I am going to put a blue die, a boost dice in here because of your description of, what exactly you're going to be looking for. You're going to go to a place and the places you would normally look, so familiarity and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to add a black die in here, which is a... I forget what those black dies are called, but we'll find out pretty soon. But the black die is basically the opposite of the boost die. And I'm going to add that in there because of how reliant you are on finding this woman and how difficult it's going to be given the circumstances. So what are you using here? Okay, well, you did tell me using charm. Okay, so you're going to be talking to people. All right, then. Well, we'll get rid of those boost dice and we'll put a black die in there. Okay, and fighter pants is Abernathy. Roger that. Charm. Charmed, I'm sure. Okay, success to advantage. All right, so the black dice is called setback dice. Okay, there we go. That's what they're called. Boost and setback. All right, so your result is a success and to advantage. So the current total... I'm going to make another sheet here real quick. Handout. This will be called GM Notes. And this will be where I keep the boost dice that you guys collect. Boost dice. Available. All right, so because of that roll, the advantages, normally when you play this game in person, you get to decide how you want to spend your advantages. It's a currency that you can spend, but because I'm rolling for everyone, we are going to go with the fact that 2 advantages get turned into a global boost die. So we'll go with that. Okay. Are you collecting the dice from our initiative rolls? What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay. No, the advantages and stuff like that don't get added from the initiative. The initiative is a separate roll altogether. So no, I am not. But initiative, like for example, this boost die will be... Let's say we only get 2 boost die. That means that the next act, the first 2 people will get a boost die, and then that's it. So that's why initiative is important, because you'll get the opportunity to use the boost die. All right. So he's going to be looking for his secretary using charm, which means he's going to be talking to people specifically. So let's roll that up. Oh, wait, no, we already did it, the roll. Sorry, I'm an idiot. So the success is, so maybe we get the scene of you going to the normal places. So, we get a montage of Paul Abernathy going to, like, say, the coffee shop that he normally goes to, or that his secretary Suzanne normally goes to. Talking to people, nothing. Haven't seen her in a while, or at least since yesterday. Then, goes to the park where she walks a dog, nothing. And then he goes to her apartment as a last-ditch effort. Inside the apartment is, the landlord. And the landlord is basically just, like, cursing up a storm and smoking inside of her apartment. And her apartment, for the most part, looks like... hastily exited. So there's stuff on the floor, the dog isn't there, and she's not there either. And talking to the landlord, Abernathy walks up, cool, calm, collected, puts his collar of his trench coat down. That's his mode for talking to people. And he slides up to the landlord and is like, "Excuse me, I'm looking for Suzanne." Do you happen to know where she is? The landlord's like, oh, fuck, you scared the shit out of me. Oh, okay, well, yeah, no, she paid up her rent and she got the fuck out of town. And Abernathy's like, what? Why would she do that? She should normally talk to me about this. It's like, look, dude, I don't know who you are, but she paid her rent in full for the next month, and I assume she was going on holiday, but the check bounced, so now I'm in here looking for stuff to sell. Abernathy puts his hand on the landlord's shoulder and is like, this is a crime scene, bub. I suggest you leave it to the professionals. She's a missing person now. And scene. Cool. So, your results. You know that she's not here. You know that she is gone. And she left a trail of clues. A maelstrom, a whirlwind of clues. So, you take one strain. Paul Abernathy. And you generated a global advantage for everyone to use. Congratulations. All right. Next, Zachary Blackhole, a.k.a. Dr. Cirrus. Let's see what Zachary gets up to. Roll it. Zach slammed the foam cup on the bar, the dice skittering under its confines. He lifted the cup, and the barkeep examines the pips. Last roll. No more fives. Better luck next time. Fuck. Sighing, he nursed a glass of Jack and Coke, the ice cubes long since reduced to little specks. He moved to the shit city because of his contact, Charles Fentis, guaranteed him a flat. It was serviceable, if shitty, and suited his needs, but Chuck said he would call about a job about 5. It was 5:45. He drained the rest of his drink and slid the glass across the bar. Pour me a few fingers of something. Surprise me. He actually wasn't one to indulge in alcohol. He never had a drunkard's tongue, but still enjoyed simple pleasures. His particular vice of choice required a more gentlemanly touch. Charles said he had a mark prepared and only needed one painting for the client. That meant one of two things. Either a flat recovery fee, or Zach would be paid in whatever he could carry out. The latter might be more lucrative, but Zach always hated dealing art. Sure, a collector might be willing to part with 5 figures, but he needed to pay someone to find an interested collector or a fence. Then there was storing it until the sale, verifying its authenticity, and that wasn't taking into account how much he pissed off the mark if the ruse didn't go off without a hitch. The barkeep slid him his glass, now filled with some amber-colored shit. He stopped just as he brought it up to his mouth, the TV bleating on about some sort of storm going on. Well, bartenders know more than most. You hear what's going on? His phone bleeped, holding up a finger to the barkeep. Zach answered, I'm ready and waiting, baby. Give me something good. Zach would like to use his charm to get payment from Chuck. He'd also like an answer from the barkeep who doesn't cry a roll. One or the other. Let's go with charm to get payment from Chuck. Seems to be your priority. So this voice for Zach, yeah. All right, so we're going to go with 2 purple, 1 black, because charm is generally a thing you can do in person, and black for the fact that you're doing it over the phone. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Everyone likes to fucking use charm. That's fine, though. Charm me, baby. All right, charm. Ooh. He gets a threat. Okay. All right, so yeah, that is it's not a pass, it's not a fail, but something bad happens. Because the threat is analogous to an advantage, but for the bad side. So basically, you got 3 successes and 3 failures and 1 threat, which means all the successes get cancelled out, and what's left is the failure. The threat. So Chuck, basically, he hears Zach will hear on the other side some coughing. What the fuck? Zach will be like, "Yo, buddy, what's going on? Tell me the skinny. What's going on?" And it's like, "Zach, listen, man, I'm calling it off. Some shit went down. I don't know what's happening." Zach will stand up, knocking over his glass, and the bartender will be like, "Hey, you're paying for that." And, still finger holding up to the barkeep. He's like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" He's like, "Listen, some fucking fog rolled in and ate half the truck. The mark's dead. The painting, it's fucking gone. I'm all kinds of fucked up out here now. I don't even know where I am." Zachariah will stand up and say, "Shit. What do you want me to do now?" It's like, "I don't fucking know, man." And that's where we'll leave your story. Your threat also represents you taking an additional strain because of the stress. So Zachariah, you will take 2 strain of your total 14. And yeah, that is your roll. Good sir. Next we have Olga. So let's take a look here. Olga, aka Lavender. All right. Olga takes a deep breath. It was a very long ride indeed, but it does not bother her though. I don't know where I read that as thought. She's here in blank, as Franz asked. Olga nervously touched her notebook in a big leathery bag. Inside the notebook was a letter and photographs of her parents. Death does not need to be bothered. She makes another deep breath. Do not overthink. Just do what is needed. She enters the town, trying to find a clue about Franz and about Franz's location. Okay, so Olga wanders through town, although she is much more calmer now than before, but something is wrong. Dark sky and morbid. Looking up, she remembers when her father had a mental breakdown. Many people have them, sure. There was the war, but it was so hard. Once she was 7, father seemed to be mad. He threw at her salt for some reason. Pure. She is real. And he laughed. Next day, he was normal. They did not speak about this. This was an awful feeling of loneliness and fear, but so similar to what she's experiencing right now. She starts to shake. Vision blurs from tears. Throat twists from the soundless scream. Godfather, please be alive. All right. I'd like to find a policeman and would like to use charm on them to find a clue or information as to where Francis lives. I'll show them a photo of my parents with Francis, and I will say that my parents died and he is my only family. He's in this town and I want to find him. He is obviously much older than this pic. I'd like to know where he lives. All right. Because you are using a photo and because you are spinning some line, I'm going to give you a boost die on this. I'm going to give you a setback. I'm going to give you a setback dice, which is black dice, because of the fact that you're trying to use an old photo to find him. And we will use your charm to see how this rolls. Okay. Bam. Wow, look at that. That's a pretty good roll. So you got a success and 3 advantages, which means that you purchase another boost die for the rest of the team, which is good. So now the team has, or the entire play base has 2 boost dice. So Olga walks up to, I don't know what your accent is going to be, but you're obviously going to be French of some descript. So we're going to walk up to a policeman, and he's going to be like, riding a, I guess he's going to be eating a hot dog. He's going to be sitting there eating a hot dog on his break. You're going to walk up to him and he's like, Monsieur Officer, I need your help. And he will half hot dog in his mouth. He'll take it out and he's like, "Oh, what seems to be the matter, miss?" And Olga, starts the waterworks, puppy dog eyes, that sort of stuff. Looks up at him. It's like, "Please, I'm looking for." What did you describe him as? An uncle? Something. Grandfather. Okay. Godfather. Please, I am looking for my godfather. He is. Little tear comes down the face. He is the only family that I have left. Please. And he pushes the photo into the police officer's face a little desperately. The officer it's like, ma'am, calm down. Consoles Olga for a little bit, hand on the back, rubbing. Olga, I don't know whether you pretend to cry or whether you actually cry, but that is, I guess, what you are doing. He is the only family I have left. The officer will be like, "What is the man's name?" And he's like, "Francisco." He'll nod, and you'll give him his last name as well. What was? Goddamn. Francisco Yusalapova. He'll nod. He'll get on his squawker, do a oh yeah, we're looking for a blah 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 blah. And you'll get an address, and he'll offer to take you there actually as well. To which you pointedly refuse. You just want directions. So he will point it out to you on the map as to where you need to go, and he'll go back to enjoying his hot dog. So you start to walk around the streets, heading towards the last known location or the living place of your godfather. When the skies start to fill with this maelstrom, and I don't know, you look up in awe, or you get distracted for a moment in time, and that's where we leave your character. So you take a strain, and good job. Whether the tears were real or not, whether they were crocodile tears, you get what you needed to do. Okay. Ronald Cullen, aka Victor von Virus. You are next. Aka Rigger. Rigger. All right. Victor is in his barn on the farmland-like property. Instead of hay bales, it's filled with torturous-looking contraptions, guillotines, cages, lots of things with spikes and weapons on the walls. Of course, basically everything is safe. Even when the blades and locks are real, there is a trick to preventing everything that keeps... There is a trick to everything that keeps the trained user safe, and padlocks on the bladed weapons are dangerous. Padlocks on the bladed weapons or dangerous equipment. No magician worth his salt would ever risk actual injury, no matter how dangerous something looks. These are the props and rigs that have helped shape Victor's career. If an untrained person was to set loose in here, it could be dangerous, which is why he keeps all of his stuff under lock and key on his private property. Being done with contemplation for the day, he closes and chains the barn doors and heads back inside his house. Through the messy building, he passes desks and tables of loose leaf notes and schematics on new trick designs, ideas, and descriptions. He is always dressed in his show clothes and keeps to himself in the mindset of the magician. He goes upstairs, pours himself some whiskey in a glass, and sits down to relax. After drinking a modest glass slowly, he gets up, intending to prepare for bed, when he spots the odd weather in the far distance. Walking over to his stargazing telescope, for which he used to ponder the heavens, in the clear country skies, he curiously turns it towards the oncoming maelstrom across the plains. I wish to use my perception to studying the incoming anomaly and its effects it's having on the landscape, as well as any visible reactions to any civilization he can see. Trying to learn about it in some way or figure out something to prepare for the imminent arrival. All right. So this is going to be pretty tough. I'm going to give you 4 purple. This is going to be very hard, considering that you are someone who is not a scholar or anything like that. Are there any players in this game? Yeah, we're all players. This is a play-by-post. We're simply just going through the GM turn right now. So if you want to join, just join the Discord, and you can head on over and make a character and that sort of stuff. So because you're not a scholarly type, you're simply observing this and trying to put a magician's mindset to it. So this is going to be 4 purple. I'm going to give you a boost dice because you are you're viewing it from a safe distance through the eyes of a telescope. So that'll give you, the ability to study it. You're also going to have the ability to write down notes and that sort of stuff in your study as well. So perception. Let's go ahead and roll that real quick. Perception. Okay, cunning. All right, let's see how you go. All right, so 2 advantages and 2 failures. Yeah. This would have been a very difficult task for you to do, considering that this is something you've never had any interest in previously. If anything, it looks kind of magical to you. The result of your extended watch on this, I would say, leads late into the night. And you're going to take an additional strain because of how fascinating it is. So you're at 2 strain right now. However, your advantage does give everyone a boost in the form of you having studied it to a degree. So we now have 3 boost dice available for the next act, I guess. And yeah, the basic result of this is that you have essentially looked into this. It's cackling with energy, with lightning. In terms of what it's doing to the landscape, you can't really tell because it's essentially like a fog wall that's moving over things. And you study it relentlessly. Fascinated by it, in fact. Yeah. So is the spooky monster of today the mist from the mist? A little, yeah. Okay. Who's next? We have Zeref Vaughn Grimlock, aka Twisted. Twisting. Where's Twisting? Okay. Hector Von Charles was drinking at a pub after a long day of trades, deals, and shady business. He retired to the pub after scalping some fraudulent invitations to a play, and he's drinking mead and joking with the bartender, who's a friend of his named Khan. Okay. Who has been a good friend to Hector. and has given him sanctuary several times from his dealings. Okay. Then, as they are having a pleasant conversation, a group of disgruntled drunkards come in and say, "Use that fucking merchant who sold me some shit yesterday. Fuck yous." Knowing what's going to happen, he puts up his brass. Cadus, which he prefers... What? Cadus, yep. He prefers to use as a big fan of being unfair in boxing. He prepares for a good old pub brawl. I'd like to fight these three guys using brawl, and after that, go back to drinking. Okay. Well, for the sake of brevity, we're going to make this 3 purple. No, we'll make this 2 purple and 1 red. And we will give you a boost die for your weapon that you're using. And the fact that these guys are drunk. And you want to use brawl. Okay. You're probably going to take a lot of wounds from this. We'll see how we go. Brawl. Here we go. Roll it up. Okay, yeah. You take 3 threats. But you get 2 successes. So, these guys come in. You slip on your little gauntlet that you have. And you stand up and it's like, "I might have sold you these things, but you bought them like the idiots you are." And that only enrages them. It's like, "Oh, you want to go, bitch?" One of them flicks out a little little stiletto knife, and he's like, "Fuck you!" And they run at you, and you do a series of sweet maneuvers. You punch a dude in the jaw. He goes down like a sack of potatoes. You punch a man in the stomach, and you throw him at the other one, he drops the knife on the ground. And then he pushes his friend aside and comes at you. He punches you square in the jaw, and then he starts railing on your stomach. And you just, while he's doing that, you punch him in the back of the head, and he falls down onto the ground. And you deal with all 3. However, you take 1 wound. Oh, no, 2 wounds and 1 strain from that due to the threats that you got. But you managed to dispatch all 3. Good job. What happens when he horribly fails? No one really will die from a bar brawl. Not in this world, at least, anyway. And you go back to your drinking, I guess. I don't know. Then the TV will turn on and show you the site that everyone has been looking at thus far. The encroaching maelstrom, basically. Whether you do anything with that is completely up to you, though. All right. So that is your turn. Good, sir. And the last person is Tyler Blackmar, a.k.a. the Blind Watchman. Die in the tutorial, yes. This is Dark Souls. Okay. Blind Watchman. Okay. As we zoom in on the scene from above, Fortune's Son starts playing. The song in every Vietnam movie ever. We see Officer Blackmar waking up after another night of drinking to forget. Another night of drinking to forget, and he was doing his morning routine, which included feeding his dog and showering. I hope you fed your dog. After he got dressed for his shift, he was going to be presented with a new case today. His dog Jack starts barking, thinking he needed to be let out. Tyler said, "Just a sec. Just a sec, buddy. Gotta finish my meal and fill my flask." After finishing, he let his dog outside, but it would not leave the house. So he looked out and saw the maelstrom. What the fuck? That wasn't supposed to be a storm today. Goddamn idiotic weatherman. Tyler then goes to work to get his case and figure out something about the maelstrom, worrying it could be a Dust Bowl 2.0 soon. The scene ends with a song saying, "It ain't me, I ain't no fortunate son, no." I use a knowledge skill in an attempt to find out anything I can about the maelstrom. Failing to do that, he'll double check his service pistol is loaded, having a bad feeling, knowing to trust it after all he's been through. Alright, so knowledge. Again, this is going to be 4 purple. What is Tyler Blackmar? He's a cop, right? I'm going to give you a black die because this is not in your purview as well. You're a soldier. You're not a man of science or anything like that. So let's roll your knowledge. 2 failures. Yep, as to be expected. I'm going to say that you take 2 strain here due to your failure. And basically what happens is you know, while you have your new case, it's something about a local mugging crime spree that's happening on the bottom end of the county. You basically spend most of your time staring out the window, drinking from your flask. The strain, while you are self-prescribed alcoholic, it does inebriate you to the point where you take an additional strain from the stress of whatever's happening with this maelstrom, as it is fairly close to where the Ranger HQ police station is. Oh shit, Scott, what up, dude? How you doing? Welcome. All right, so in terms of what's happening now, that's pretty much all the player characters, I think. Yeah, that's everyone. All right, so going forward, we need to do the GM turn. So no one really progressed the act too quickly. We did end up getting 3 boost dice for everyone to use, which means that we can just, I guess, follow the story of those 2 people. So I'll write up the full act after I finish the stream today, and then we can go from there. But yeah, that's pretty much the result of everything that's happening. So we're going to jump back and we're actually going to do some actual proper streaming now. So see you in a smidgen while I change games.